What's going on, guys? This is Danny from Slow Restoration, and we're getting ready to fire this Corvette up with the Texas Speed Cam and their long tube headers. We didn't hook up the rest of the exhaust quite yet. I want to go ahead and fire it, make sure everything's good, and then we'll fab up those pieces. But we do still have to top off the power steering fluid and the antifreeze. Make sure all that's topped off. Everything else is put back together except for the engine covers. I always leave them off and just make sure everything looks proper before we get too carried away. With those covers on it, obviously it covers up most of the top of the engine and you can't see a whole lot. So we'll leave them off till we fire this up. So let me go ahead and get this fluids topped off, check everything, give it just a quick once over. We'll be ready to fire this up. By the way, yes, I have a sweatshirt on now. That's because here in Pennsylvania, it went from like 90 degrees to today it was in the 40s and raining. So pretty crazy weather we're having, but we're topping everything off. Everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and hook the battery up and see if she'll crank over. So this thing's not gonna sound really good very first fire. For one thing, the lifters all have to pump back up. Everything has to adjust. Battery's been unhooked for a while, and right now it is open header. Now some might think that sounds good, and I do too, but it's gonna be loud, and it's not tuned for this cam. So it should sound good. Don't expect it to sound exceptional. And it's gonna smoke. It's new headers. If you ever installed new headers and fired up for the first time, there's tons of oils and stuff from shipping and from manufacturing that need to burn off, and it's a terrible smell, but don't be alarmed if you see a little smoke. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. All right, so it fired and I shut it right off. The Corvette's a little bit weird. Once you hit that starter button, it's gonna roll over until it actually fires. So fired up, it actually sounded fine so far. Let's just take a quick peek outside, make sure it's not leaking anything. Nothing's leaking. We did top off the antifreeze already, so let's jump back in. Now you don't have to shut it off that quick. I could have left it run for a little bit. To be honest with you, I had already hit that button before it actually fired. So either way, let's go ahead and hit it again, and it should fire right up this time. We shut it down there real quick. Let's go ahead and again check everything out. We're gonna have to top stuff off for a little while. They do get air pockets in the cooling system, so yeah, that's low. Let's go ahead and top that off. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put this up in the air and just once again quick once over, make sure everything's looking like it should. No seeps, no leaks, nothing rubbing. All right, so it's looking pretty good under here, but this is why we do this. I did notice the engine light popped on almost immediately. Again, it's not tuned, so it wasn't too surprising when it did, but looking around here, I did forget to plug in the cam sensor on the bottom side here. So we'll go ahead and snap that back on. So with that done, once it fires, we fire it back up again. It should sound a little bit better this time. Headers actually already, you can see the oils on there start turning colors. We can wipe these down a little bit, but it's just pretty much you have to burn the oils off these headers. It's coated inside and out, so looking good so far though. With all that checked out, we are Gonna finish up the last thing, which is the hookup of the Texas Speed long tubes to this Bassani catback system. So we went ahead and chopped off this section, and we're going to make some joining pipes in through here. For right now, we just have these two hangers unbolted to allow that to drop down to give us room to work. But I think we have some pipes that are going to work for us. We got these pipes slipped up on here. They're slip fit just like it should be at the header here. And we have the clamps that came with the headers to go ahead and seal that off. These are actually left over from another job that we did. Actually another Texas Speed header job. These look like cats. They may or may not be, but either way, it makes this far enough back. We have enough play there to pinch them in a little bit and make that work. So let's go ahead and position these. We'll get these tacked, slip it off the header, and we can fully weld this side. That worked absolutely perfect. We have the bottoms welded here. We'll go ahead and slip the pipes back, let this whole thing down so I can get to the top of it to finish welding that. And then we'll put our clamps on, slip it back together, tighten them up, and we'll be ready to hear what this Bassani has to offer. With that drop down, we got our last bit of weld on there, and we're ready to go back together. With that slid back up on there, we do have our clamps tightened up, and we're ready to drop this thing down and hear what this system's going to sound like, whether it's going to be overpowering. Let me know what you think before we fire it up. Is it going to be like ridiculously loud still? All it is headers, little muffler right here, and then pipes all the way out of the back with tips. So there are no mufflers back here. This is a kind of X-pipe muffler deal and Texas Speed long tube. So let's go ahead, drop it down, see what it sounds like. Jump inside here, make sure she's in neutral, foot on the clutch, moment of truth. Oh yeah. Okay. It's got a very unique sound. Before we even give it a rev, see what it sounds like when we rev it up, but I don't hate that. Cam's coming around. Again, this is not tuned yet. Go ahead and go inside and give it a couple revs. Very unique sound. I don't know if I'm gonna like that driving. It's pretty loud in the cockpit. First we have the door open and we're in the garage, so time will tell, but that's what we have for now. I'm gonna go ahead and let this warm up a bit. Again, burn all the oils and stuff off the headers. We'll keep checking fluids. And for now, we're just going to enjoy that Texas Speed cam. It's a 233, 239 at 50, 600 lift. Well, that wraps up this round of modifications for this C6. We did the Texas Speed cam. It does have the Veraram we did earlier. I think we did a video on that quite a while ago, a few months ago. The Texas Speed long tube headers, and we tied into that Bassani catback exhaust system. The rotors will have to wait. The wrong ones came in, so no big deal. This thing needs to go get tuned and put a couple miles on, then we're going to do another oil change. By the way, we did do an oil change on this, so it has fresh oil. So we'll let everything break in, and a couple hundred miles we'll do another oil change and it'll be good to go. And then we'll try and tackle the brake rotors at that time. Not that these are wore out, he just wants drilled and slotted on there. It's a beautiful car, came out good. Let's fire it up and we'll hear a little bit more. Well, I got a treat for you. So I did a before and after, so let's do that now. Whoa, that's different. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.